down. Please start your speech. Nothing will go on record.
जिंदाबाद, इनकलाब भारतीय किसान यूनियन।
माहौल देश में इस तरह का बना हुआ है, समाज को तोड़ने का काम राजनीतिक लोग कर रहे हैं।
किसान एकता जिंदाबाद।
हमारी भाव तुम्हारा नहीं चलेगा, नहीं चलेगा, नहीं चलेगा।
मैं आपको, पूरे देश को ये बताने आया हूं कि हमने 3 कृषि कानूनों को वापस लेने का, रिपील करने का निर्णय लिया है।
That's the big decision that the Prime Minister of the country announced earlier this morning. In a televised address to the nation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that the 3 controversial farm laws passed in September 2020 stand repealed by the union government. Farmers across the country have been protesting against these laws ever since. In fact, even before they were passed by the parliament. They believed that the laws will benefit large corporates and hurt farmers. They had very little trust in any kind of assurance, guarantee that the government had been giving them, saying that this is going to become a problem for us. If these are laws meant for us, we don't want them. They will not help us. There could be various reasons for why the government has taken the decision to scrap the farm laws. One of the key reasons, many say, is the upcoming state polls in 5 different states over the period of next couple of years. The fact that the government gauged the negative impact of the farm movement that has been relentlessly going on since the laws were passed. The fact that the government needs to reach out to the farmers and needs to get that vote bank once again. The fact that they need to strike an emotional chord on the occasion of Guru Nanak Jayanti, which is today. Remember, elections also coming up in Punjab first up. And of course, the fact that the government needs to rebuild its pro-farmer image. Despite a lot of other schemes and announcements and policies, that image was getting dented with this movement. And it has become very easy political fodder for the opposition parties to pressurize the government. Let me just play out what Prime Minister said. The operative part. Very important to hear the message before we debate.
मैं आज देशवासियों से क्षमा मांगते हुए सच्चे मन से और पवित्र हृदय से कहना चाहता हूं कि शायद हमारी तपस्या में ही कोई कमी रही होगी, जिसके कारण दिए के प्रकाश जैसा सत्य कुछ किसान भाइयों को हम समझा नहीं पाए। आज गुरु नानक देव जी का पवित्र प्रकाश पर्व है। ये समय किसी को भी दोष देने का नहीं है। आज मैं आपको, पूरे देश को ये बताने आया हूं कि हमने 3 कृषि कानूनों को वापस लेने का, रिपील करने का निर्णय लिया है। इस महीने के अंत में शुरू होने जा रहे संसद सत्र में, इसी महीने में हम तीनों कृषि कानूनों को रिपील करने की संवैधानिक प्रक्रिया को पूरा कर देंगे। साथियों, मैं आज अपने सभी आंदोलनरत किसान साथियों से आग्रह कर रहा हूं, आज गुरु पर्व का पवित्र दिन है। अब आप अपने अपने घर लौटे, अपने खेत में लौटे, अपने परिवार के बीच लौटे। आइए एक नई शुरुआत करते हैं, नए सिरे से आगे बढ़ते हैं।
A new beginning. Go home for now and let's work towards a new beginning. A new beginning where you and I can also have a conversation about the minimum support price. The message from the Prime Minister as he apologized to his countrymen for failing to perhaps communicate this better to the farmers and everybody else what these laws meant. Irrespective, the laws are gone. The farmers over the past 1 year, viewers, were villainized, were made to sound as if they are dumb, they have no understanding of what's going on, they are being misled, that they are so naive that just a few motivated political outfits are able to mislead hundreds and thousands of farmers and their families such that they stay away from their farms for the entire year, sitting on the road, on a dharna, month after month, not relenting, peacefully just sitting there. Those farmers who produce the food that is on our plate every night, were villainized, motives given to them. It was even said that they are being paid to be part of this protest. It was even said that many of them are with Khalistani inclinations, separatist motives, and what not. Various attempts were made to block them, stop them, intimidate them, this way or that way. The farmers did not relent. Sure, several political parties and groups and maybe individuals looking out for their own personal interests supported them, joined the bandwagon. But at the heart of this movement that went on and grabbed the nation's attention for over a year was the Kisan. The Kisan that here at Mirror Now we've been constantly talking about. The Kisan that nobody heard up until they sat on this agitation. Nobody heard them when the last several times they came to the national capital to protest. Nobody heard them when they marched for kilometers together, when they started killing themselves, when they were buried under debt, when they would lose their crop year after year. And so they were pushed to the point where they said enough is enough. We have waited for reforms. We wanted reforms, but we are not convinced that these are the reforms that will benefit us. Tonight, many are saying that the government has changed its mind simply because of the elections that are coming up in Punjab, in Uttar Pradesh, and subsequently other locations. And that it's the political reasons that has forced the government to go back, that has forced the government and its supporters from calling the opposers of the laws Andolanjeevis to today saying we will repeal the laws. This is just one step, a big victory for those who are part of this movement. But they still have to get what is their due. Tonight, as I speak to you, their problems still remain. Their problems about low income, their problems about massive mismatch in what they put to grow the food and what they earn out of it, their problems in lack of stability and certainty of where they will sell the food and what price will they get for it. Their problems in getting fertilizer. As we speak, there is a fertilizer shortage in many parts of our country and we are not even talking about it. The real problems of the Kisan of this country still exist. It doesn't matter if they belong to Punjab or to Kerala or any other part of this country. And that is what still needs to be addressed. So tonight I have two questions for those of the panelists who are joining me on this conversation. Was this a change of heart or simply a political decision? And secondly, what next for the farm sector? To me, that's more important than all the political noise around it. What next for the Kisan? Their issues still remain. Let's say good evening to Yogendra Yadav, Swaraj India Chief, joining me this evening, Professor Santosh Mehrotra, Senior Economist, Anil Ghanwat, part of the Supreme Court appointed farm panel, Dr. Anshul Avjit, National Spokesperson for the Congress Party, Sudesh Sharma, Spokesperson for the BJP, joining me this evening as well. So Yogendra Yadav, I want to come to you first. I understand you have a flight to catch, so just right up, I want to ask you, what next? The issues of the farmers still remain.
Tanvi, allow me just 30 seconds to say about the past before I come to next. First of all, salute to you. Your channel, Mirror Now, was amongst the very few channels which stood for truth, which gave space to the farmers' voices, which was so badly missing. The last 1 year would be a sordid chapter in the history of Indian media. Thank you for standing up. This is a great victory. Not for the movement, not for the farmers, not for the farm leaders. This is a victory for farmers who stood day and night, winter, heat, everything. They withstood all that. And on Gurpurab Day, we remember Kirat Karo, which is to say Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, earn your bread with hard work. And the one person who does it is the farmer. Today we celebrate that. On your question about what really made the difference, I think everyone in the country knows the answer. If the Prime Minister was to be convinced by the moral case, he would have conceded almost 10 months ago, 11 months ago, when he saw millions of farmers marching towards Delhi. If he was to be convinced about the unconstitutionality of these laws, he would have withdrawn at the ordinance stage itself, because it was absolutely clear that the central government has no business passing these laws. If there was any humanitarian consideration for our Prime Minister, after the severe winter of Delhi and after about 50 farmers had died, any person with a heart would have said, all right, I go back. Obviously, these things do not matter for our Prime Minister, for this regime. The only thing that matters, the only language they understand is the language of vote, election, power, seats. That calculation has mattered. I don't mind it. I don't blame them. In democracy, this is a perfectly legitimate calculation. It is perfectly legitimate for farmers to pressurize them on this point. And it is perfectly legitimate for the government to do this calculus and say, boss, ye to zyada nuksan ka sauda hai. Which is what has pushed them into. And this is what I call victory for democracy. It is victory for democracy because farmers have shown that arrogance can be brought down. This government thought and said to the world, and even these ministers and bureaucrats who used to come and speak to us, they would say, देखिए कुछ भी करवा लीजिए, repeal मत करवाइए, मोदी जी हैं, एक बार बोल दिया है, आपको पता है मोदी जी वापस तो कभी नहीं लेंगे. We said, हम देखेंगे. And today, that has come true. So farmers have made sure that something which seemed unthinkable in this country has happened. Arrogant regime has been forced to step back. For political calculation, that's all right. That happens.
No, you're absolutely right. Even if it's for political calculations, that's all right. As long as hundreds and thousands of people have actually got what they wanted. And in fact, here repeatedly we say that issues that actually matter to people should become issues of an election.
Absolutely.
And if this is an issue of an election in that sense, all right. But let me also now bring in Mr. Anil Ghanwat.
Can I say one more thing, Tanvi,
yes,
before
Mr.
I leave? Which is the important point is not that Mr. Modi's considerations were political, therefore we shall not leave. No, that's all right. The most important thing is that one of the most critical issue that we had raised remains unaddressed.
Yes.
The issue of the MSP. We had said, Mr. Modi, we don't need the gift that you want to give us. Thank you very much. Please take your gift away. Please give us what we really want, which is exactly what Narendra Modi ji had himself asked for in 2011, namely legal guarantee of MSP. On that, the Prime Minister did not say anything concrete today. And in that sense, this historic victory is still incomplete. And our struggle goes on. What form the struggle will take will be decided by Sanयुक्त Kisan Morcha over tomorrow and the day after. But the struggle is incomplete and we shall continue our fight.
Yeah, it would be actually if you know, we don't take it to a point where farmers get something that actually benefits them. Mr. Sudesh Sharma, since the issue of MSP has been raised here by Yogendra Yadav, the Prime Minister did mention that we will form a committee that looks at that aspect. Now, what does that mean? Because it is a little vague and the farmers may not be in a mood to relent and go back home until they get more clarity.
Can I first answer to what Mr. Yogendra Yadav said? Because this is not the time for acrimony, you know, because Prime Minister himself has said, and he has actually drunk the poison that came out of this Samudra Manthan, so that the society does not remain divided. And this was the prime reason. And he himself has said that we failed to persuade people to see our point of view. And that is why the bills are going to be repealed now. So there is nothing to talk about that. I would not like to get into the past and talk about the same acrimony that happened. We have to look forward to future. And here is a Prime Minister who is ready to take the blame. And that is the best thing about anyone who thinks about the country. There are very rare occasions you have to act as a statesman. He has done that. Because we cannot see the society getting divided. It's not that the majority of the farmers had not accepted. So let's accept it. You can see political reasons, you know, but I don't see that. If I give you statistics, Mr. Yadav would say, you see, we have won elections, isn't it? Despite the farm agitation going on. You see, all these people went to West Bengal and still could not prevent us from coming into the single largest opposition party with 77 seats. We have done extremely well in the by-elections that happened, isn't it? So it's not that for political reasons you do it. When you actually realize, because we could have given a fight, but no, fight against whom? Our own people. So that realization came that we are not able to convince. The experts said that, scientists said that, even then people were not ready to listen. So okay, fine, it's democracy after all. Democracy should triumph. They're our own people. So that should be taken in that spirit. Coming to your issue of MSP, it has been said that a committee would be formed and MSP would be made more effective and transparent. And already you see more purchases have happened under MSP, and there is no reason for anyone to fear that MSP is not going to stay. It's a question of how to make it more effective, isn't it? So that the committee would look into, and the farmers should trust. They should go back home now and allow the country to come back to the normal, because people are suffering because of that. We appeal. We want the appeal of the PM to be taken sincerely by everyone. And here is a PM who listens to people. It's not that Prime Minister Modi has said something and he would not change. It's not that. If he feels that, okay, something went wrong, we could not persuade people, then he has taken the lead. He has not asked anyone. He has come forward and said that, okay, fine, we have not been able to persuade. And that is why we are taking it back.
Okay, we have not been able to persuade, and that is why we have taken it back. Mr. Anil Ghanwat, are you convinced with this argument that's been given, that we were not able to persuade the people for whom the laws were meant, and so we are taking it back?
Of course, it is the government's fault. They didn't do anything to convey the message to the farmers. They were misguided by the leaders of the agitation. They were told that your lands will be taken away. They were told that the MSP will go. They were told that APMCs will be shut down. This was all false. It was not true at all. So the government had the responsibility to convey the message to the farmers, but this didn't happen. Nobody from the government went to the farmers and told them what is the proper case. So it's the government fault that the message was not conveyed, and the farmer leaders, the agitating farmer leaders were able to misguide the farmers and pull them into the agitation.
How is it possible, Mr. Ghanwat, and you still believe so? So I'm asking you that so many of them, thousands of them got misguided. I mean, these leaders that you talk about must be really influential and powerful.
No, nowhere in the laws even one word is mentioned about MSP.
Correct.
Nowhere it is said that MSP will be withdrawn. And about APMC, the government had tried to give just some freedom from APMC laws. The farmers are not allowed to sell outside MSP. By these laws, they were going to get some other options. They could have sold their product from their home, from their fields, on the roads, anywhere to some private mandis too. But now the laws have been repealed and we don't have any options. There won't be any competition and the farmers are deprived of getting better rates.
Okay, I think the large amount of disagreement was whether this option would give them better rate or worse off rates. I will come to that point in just a bit. Professor Santosh Mehrotra, thank you so much for joining us. Do you believe that this should be a lesson for governments that perhaps better interaction with the stakeholders is needed before you decide on a policy, or is that problematic in a democracy like ours?
No, it's not problematic at all. It should be a lesson, but it's a lesson that is unlikely to be learned because we've seen for 7 years that the only reason why this government takes decisions on economic issues, and this is an economic issue, apart from being a moral issue, and a constitutional one, subjects I'll come back to in a minute, but it has taken this decision for a political calculus, and I don't agree with Dr. Yadav at all. I don't see why a political calculus must be used each time over the last 7 years that an economic decision has to be taken. Let me just mention that there were constitutional challenges to this issue. The previous government had a strategy which was not dissimilar, but it never did something like this, of putting in place a central law. Similar strategies were being adopted at the state level. That was an appropriate strategy because in the last analysis, agriculture is a state subject. The center was intervening in a subject area which it shouldn't have been, which is the reason why it rammed through an ordinance and then laws without any. And so clearly, government realized it is not going to go anywhere. So let's take at least some political advantage. So I want to congratulate you for repeatedly bringing this out. I think the tickers that you are running at the bottom of your screen are absolutely spot on. And people do in this country, especially the middle class and above, don't realize, especially those of us who speak English and talk to each other in the way that we are doing, don't realize that in the period, and this is NSSO data, okay, National Sample Survey Organization data, between 2013-14 and 18-19, the real income of farmers has not grown. In nominal terms, obviously, it's grown, but input prices have risen, CPI has grown. As a result, their real incomes have not grown. Can you imagine the average income of a farmer family in the country is less than 10,000 rupees a month? In Odisha and Jharkhand, it is actually around 5,000. Do you seriously expect rural households of a family of 5 to live on under 10,000 rupees? I mean, agriculture is facing many issues. And that is the reason why, even after the 3 farm laws have been taken back, which is simply putting the clock back to something like a year ago, many of the issues still remain. And that's why the farmer agitation is likely to continue, and rightly so.
Yes, the farmers' agitation is likely to continue for that reason because their problems remain, problems especially on the income, and we've had exhaustive conversations based on government data itself that shows how the incomes have actually gone down as the times have moved ahead and not up for the farmers. But Anshul Avjit, to the point that the Congress party has been making, is it just a political move ahead of elections? Does that mean that you think that the BJP is going to win in the upcoming state polls?
So this Tanvi, is a triumph of civil resistance. I mean, this is a triumph of the sustained resistance of the farmers for 1 year at least. It is also a triumph of the Congress party, which led that resistance before the farmers came into the picture. That was last year. So, you know, I have been constantly saying that this state behaves like a colonial state. our resistance actually mimics that of an anti-colonial resistance, because it behaves like a colonial state, because all its laws are anti-people, and it keeps colonizing its own territory. It's been its objective for the past 7 years. You go by any kind of law, and I'll come to that in a minute. And all the operative words that you used, and I'm so glad you did, Tanvi, all the operative words you used in the Prime Minister's speech today, which is, I'm so moved by the farmers' plight. My goodness me. I mean, he's not moved by the farmers' plight. The BJP is only moved or pained by the plight of losing elections. That is why in this particular moment in time, that was so critical for them. At least I must give it that after calling them, Andolan Jivis and all manner of slurs and what have you, atrocious names, the BJP has ultimately succumbed. I am glad, and this is heartening, to the power of democracy, that ultimately you have to acknowledge, even for this kind of expedient moment, the power of our democracy. The Prime Minister has also apologized here. That was another operative word. I never thought that the day would come, but then again, we're speaking about the power of our democracy. I hope that this is the beginning of a series of apologies, Tanvi, regarding every kind of law, which is not just talking about laws that have heightened social tensions, CAA, the laws in the state, dog whistling and all that, but also the economic laws, beginning with Notbandi and everything that came afterwards and before it. So a series of apologies are needed from the Prime Minister here.
Dr. Anshul Avajit, what do you think the apology was for? I think there's a bit of a confusion on how the apology is actually being interpreted, because the Prime Minister said that he's apologizing for the fact that he's not been able to communicate the laws properly, not for the fact that he brought laws that may not be in the interest of the people, or that he didn't react for all this while. It's that their communication strategy failed.
Well, the word itself, coming from this kind of government which is so dictatorial, which is authoritative, which is Ozymandias-like, to come to this point where he has to apologize. I hope this is the beginning of that. He uses this word more often.
Okay. Sudesh Verma wants to respond to that.
Yeah, Tanvi, I was allowing him to speak. The more he speaks today, the Congress will get exposed. Because we were saying that the Congress was doing. See, I don't need to go back to the debate. You can take out the pages from our debates and you can say what we said about the Congress, how Congress was leading, how Congress had decided everything what we did. But when we did, they just went back on their promise. And so now they're openly saying that it is they who led the agitation. So they're not ready to give credit to the farmers. You see, the apology about which the PM is talking, rightly, Tanvi, what you said, it's in that context that we failed to persuade. And there were a huge section of population that accepted. Experts, agriculture experts, scientists, economists. They all saw beautiful reasons in the three farm legislations. But yet the PM has, taken it back. That shows the large-heartedness of the PM. This apology is about that, is to keep the country one and to understand that people should understand that they have a voice here. It's not dictatorship. That you force Baba Ramdev to leave Ramlila ground in utter shameless manner because the state was atrocious that day. We could have done that, but no, we don't want to, because it is democracy. We want democracy to prevail. You have seen such a large agitation going on for so many months. It happened because the government gave full free hand to them to agitate. This is a right, isn't it? So when we realize that we are not able to convince them to make them see our point of view, so what is the best way? The best way is to take it back, and all those people who supported us, and also to them, the PM has offered an apology. So how do you see that apology in the same context in which Dr. Manmohan Singh apologized after he was forced on the Sikh massacre in Delhi? It's not the same. It's not out of contrition. It's because of their own failure. And this is something this can happen only when you're a statesman. You are a very big person with a very big heart, isn't it? Understand that, appreciate that. That is what we expect from the Congress.
The word that was used, Mr. Verma, by Tomar ji was that ye Pradhan Manitri ka badhappan hai. This some kind of elderly magnanimity. Oh, come on, it's so outrageously condescending.
Statesman
Can you believe that these 700 people have died?
Power to say so.
Verma, 700 people have died. Hail or shine, these farmers have been lost in that place.
Because
They are
one
being
thing
nails
question
planted on the road.
You don't
in
understand
Lakhimpur
Hindutva. If you
and you
understand
say that-
Hindutva,
Okay, gentlemen, may I just come in here? I just have one point to make, and Anshul, I think you'll just have to give maybe a little space to the BJP and the government at least tonight, because they've taken this big decision that has left many people utterly confused and disappointed. And the question that is being asked tonight is, Mr. Sudesh Sharma, if you're going to give in to a simple protest that you didn't think was big enough, that you didn't think went beyond the state of Punjab, and if you're going to give in to that and withdraw 3 national big reforms, then what happens next? Anybody can come on the streets and force the government to change the policy?
No, Tanvi, it's not correct, because see, here is a Prime Minister who had fought against emergency imposed by Srimati Indira Gandhi then. And he knows what the country is all about. He knows the people of this country. In democracy, you have to have give and take. You have to understand the psychology of people. And he understands it better. And we have been trying, all of us have been trying, the entire country, the economists, the intellectuals, everyone was trying. But still, if some people don't want to see reason, so no, you have to withdraw it or will not allow. So what are you left with? So in democracy, at times it happens. It doesn't become a norm. It is an exception.
Okay.
And people should not take it as a norm.
Okay, let's get back to one key problem which still exists, which is the benefit for farmers, or helping our farmers, getting them to a point where it's what they're growing and selling is self-sustainable as a livelihood, which it is not increasingly, Mr. Anil Ghanwat. The problem is that the farmers are not able to make enough money versus what they're putting in to survive and earn a good living. And that problem still exists. Professor Mehrotra pointed out how the rise in the income is not even keeping up with inflation, effectively has gone down for the farmers in the last many years. How do we fix that problem? Mr. Ghanwat, I think you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself.
It should be accepted that the prevailing laws are not enough. The consequences have come to our notice that lakhs of farmers have committed suicide because of the prevailing laws. So these type of reforms were necessary. And this government had tried to bring in such type of reform to liberate the farmers and even liberate the agricultural marketing policy. But this agitation has come up, and this step which was taken forward had to be taken back. So this is not good for our country and farmers of India. Actually, there should be some solution for the repairing whatever the laws are there in the country. The farmers of India are committing suicide because they can't earn profit. Whenever they are in a position to get some money, the government intervenes and pulls down the prices. The soybean prices have been pulled down by importing soya meal and reducing the cost import duty of oils. Now the cotton is getting a good price. So the government is thinking of again imposing export bans. Onion prices are pulled down now and then. So these type of policies have to be changed. Farmers should be allowed to earn some money so that they can repay their loans. The farmers are committing suicide because they are not in a position to repay their loans because government is not allowing them to earn some money. Every time farmers is in a position to get some profit, the government intervenes and pulls down the prices. This is the problem. Actually, 21 states are already have deregulated fruits, vegetables, and flowers, and 15 states have their contract farming is being operated in 15 states. So these new farm laws were not going to make much difference in these two aspects. The most difference would have come in the amendment in the Essential Commodity Act. In that too, there was a clause to invoke ECA if the prices rise 100% in the perishables and 50% in the non-perishables. this clause was a problem, and Shetkari Sangatna has opposed it and demanded change in that. But the committee which was appointed, our committee had corrected all these flaws that were in the laws, and a good report has been submitted to the Supreme Court. But unfortunately, Supreme Court didn't take cognizance of our report, and these repealed abruptly. Actually, the laws were enforced in an abrupt condition. There was no proper discussion. If there would have been a proper discussion, the farmer would have known that the MSP is not going, APMCs are going to stay, and nobody can take away your land. But the message was not conveyed, which is admitted by our Honorable Prime Minister.
But Mr. Ganwat, and what you're saying, let me take it back to Sudesh Sharma, because the BJP says they held a series of widespread consultations before they came out with these laws.
Yes, Tanvi, that is the reality. You know, Swaminathan committee also came out, gave many recommendations based on all these, based on expert committee's report, based on various sections of society, and also I'm saying the Congress. The Congress also wanted to do that about APMC reforms. You know what Sharad Pawarji said and all that. We don't need to bring that back again, because the acrimony must end. We don't want to go back and defend the same thing. Now that the Prime Minister has given a larger statement, that should be seen in that context. We want the country to now march ahead. Less of acrimony. We should stand where we were. The farmers, they are the Annadata. They should not get divided.
But Mr. Sudesh Sharma, you are right. We want to march ahead. We want to, the farmers would want to speak to the government. The farmers would want to trust the government and have a conversation with the government. But over the past 1 year, the government and its supporters and the political party BJP and all those who back the farm laws repeatedly villainized these farmers. What not was said of them? Various methods and attempts were made to get them back, to block them. The kind of concretes and nails that were used, roads dug up just to stop them. Now you are saying that we want to work together. What do you think? How will the government manage to do that? You need to first win their trust back.
No, we believe in the great culture and character of this country and the farmers. We are very confident that now that we are not getting into the past, everything was spoken in a context. That context need not be repeated, because the more you repeat it, it would spread poison. Prime Minister like Lord Shiva has tried to drink that poison so that nectar could prevail in the country and people can live peacefully. And as brothers, we would like that spirit to go ahead. So I don't want to join issues with Ansur today. He can, the more he speaks, the more he will expose himself. He should be welcoming this like Captain Amrinder Singh has done, and congratulate the Prime Minister for doing it. It needs a very, very big kind of, commitment and understanding about the country to take such a decision.
Okay, let me, before I go back to Professor Mehrotra, get Anshul Avajit in on this point, because earning the trust back will be the next big step before any conversation actually takes place.
Mr. Verma keeps laying the ground for acrimony when he suggests that, this is a poison, like protesting in a democracy is poison, which the Prime Minister like Shiva drunk it and put it in his throat. I mean, I can't believe it. So he's setting the grounds for this acrimony by saying all these statements. I really don't know. There is a huge trust deficit that exists. There is no doubt about it, because even now, the statements that came out, Tanvi, from the farmers are saying that, no, we are not leaving here. It's not that we are packing our bags and gleefully returning home in band baja style. We are actually staying here because we don't trust this government. Let the the parliament happen. We don't know whether it's going to be taken to a select committee. How will it unfold? This is the Prime Minister has made a particular decision right now. What will unfold, and the boot question of MSP, how that unfold, whether it's made into some kind of a statutory arrangement as per the demand, that has not happened. There is complete breakdown of trust because you haven't had a dialogue with the farmers since January. Yeah. I mean, this is November. There was no even attempt in the middle to have some kind of a dialogue with the farmers at all. Right now, the elections are, they're coming up, and that was the sole reason. It was why this kind of the act has been withdrawn. So yes, trust has to be built up. It has to be built up not just between farmers, but between the opposition and this government as well, between the states and the government, and all over trust everywhere. I mean, and the Prime Minister needs to keep on this rhetoric, even if it's an empty rhetoric of apology. I'm really delighted to hear these words, and they must keep up with that kind of rhetoric.
Okay.
Tanvi,
Yes.
Tanvi, can I respond?
Yes.
You see, trust is already there. The committee which Prime Minister has announced, which will be formed, will have a position also, will have representatives from the states also, the farmers also, and experts also. So it definitely will move towards a positive solution. Let's learn our lessons from what has happened and let's move forward. This is how the country moves forward. If you want to put us grounded to the past, I'm not ready to join issues with you, I told you. Once the Prime Minister has drawn that line, I would not like to go back and, talk about those things.
Yes.
I would like to march ahead along with the country, along with the farmers.
Well, I will say this. I do appreciate and welcome the fact that at least that much indication has been made by the government that they are going to have the panel that continues to have a conversation or holds a conversation with the farmers on MSP. Because like Anshul pointed out, it was very, very disappointing that since January, the government and the farmers had not gone back to the table to have any conversation. When the laws were suspended, conversation also got suspended for some reason, which is why we are where we are standing today. And Professor Mehrotra, that brings me back to that same point. What next? A larger demand of MSP as a law, is that practical?
That's unlikely to be happening anytime soon. On the one hand, because it's a very complex issue. This is then the next question will arise. Okay, you've got MSP for 2 products. Why not for the remaining 26? The government just announces for 23 or 26 products MSP, but doesn't have the wherewithal to actually carry out the procurement, etc., etc. So there are many other issues because this is a sector which is needing much more public investment, and when public investment will come, there will also be private investment. Where is the public investment need to come in agriculture? It needs to come in spray irrigation, in drip irrigation, in micro irrigation, so that, and those are the things that need to be subsidized. So on the one hand, you save on water because groundwater is being overutilized. On the other hand, you raise productivity. Then reforms will have to be brought about in respect of fertilizer subsidy, because the way the fertilizer subsidy has been structured, it has actually been reducing soil fertility. So you've got to get your fertilizer subsidy structure right and your delivery mechanism for fertilizer subsidy right. These are the areas where the central government has a role to play. For most of the areas in agriculture, the state governments have a role to play. So in many cases, there have been a failure at the state. Third area where the central government has a role to play, because the RBI, as you know, has for many decades instructed all scheduled commercial banks, the public sector banks, to give 40% of their overall credit to priority areas, and of that 22% of that 40, actually more than half, goes to agriculture. But quite often, the vast majority of the poor and small farmers don't even manage to get access to that credit. That's a very serious problem. Most of the beneficiaries of bank loans are actually the medium and the large farmers. This is a very serious problem because 84% of our farmers are small and marginal. And even they bring some produce to the market, and they would have been impacted very adversely by these 3 laws. So, this is a beginning. The government should take the problems of agriculture seriously, because if the government would want to see revival of growth post-pandemic, then demand in the agricultural sector and rural areas needs to rise. Otherwise, the demand for manufactured goods is not going to rise, because a very significant part of total consumption in our economy is accounted for by rural areas.
Correct.
So we've got a multiplicity of problems, and we have been unfortunately distracted, and the government has been distracted by trying to enforce these 3 laws. It was foolhardy. It has withdrawn them. It needs to go back to the जिसे कहते हैं ना कि जो मूलभूत आधार है हमारे किसान की प्रगति और उन्नति के लिए, quite opposite from the commitment of the government of doubling farmers' income between 2015 and 2022. 2022 is literally just 1 year away now. You've got a situation which I began by saying farmers' income has not risen in real terms in the last 7 years.
In real terms, in fact, like you rightly pointed out, it's gone down 8.9% over the period of 2012, 2013 to 2018, 2019. And after that, we have to see if anything has significantly changed. But let me, to the point that Professor Mehrotra has made, let me now bring in Dharmendra Malik, National Media in Charge for BKU. धर्मेंद्र मलिक जी नमस्कार, धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। सबसे पहले तो
जी नमस्कार।
आपका रिएक्शन जो आज प्रधानमंत्री ने सुबह अनाउंसमेंट कर दी, क्या ये एक्सपेक्टेड था आपको?
नहीं, देखिए हमारा तो एक्सपेक्टेड तो इसलिए था कि हम संघर्ष कर रहे थे। हमने कहा था कि जब तक ये हमारे अधिकार की बात पूरी नहीं हो जाती तब तक आंदोलन समाप्त नहीं होगा। लेकिन इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा कि देर आए दुरुस्त आए, लेकिन अभी आधी अधूरी लड़ाई है। केवल ये तो 1 साल से थोपे हुए कानून हमारे ऊपर थे, 20 साल से हमारी एमएसपी को गारंटी दी जाए, ये लड़ाई है। और अभी एक बात पूरी हुई है, एक बात और है, लेकिन आगे के आंदोलन की दशा और दिशा क्या होगी ये हम संयुक्त मोर्चा की बैठक में तय करेंगे। लेकिन कोई भी इतना बड़ा आंदोलन टीवी पे बैठ के बोल देने से समाप्त नहीं होता। किसानों से संवाद करना पड़ेगा। 50,000 से ज़्यादा लोगों के ऊपर मुकदमे दर्ज हैं। अरे हमारे 750 परिवार जिनके घर से कोई बच्चा चला गया, किसी का बाप चला गया, 750 लोगों को शहादत देनी पड़ी एक छोटे से कानून को जो थोपा था भारत सरकार ने। और अगर आज भारत सरकार अपनी गलती सुधार कर ही रही है तो उन सब का भी कुछ न कुछ करना पड़ेगा, उन परिवारों का भी पुनर्वास हो, एमएसपी गारंटी। प्रधानमंत्री जी आज इतनी दरियादिली दिखा रहे थे, धन्यवाद तो खैर मैं उनका करता हूं और स्वागत योग्य कदम है। अगर एक लाइन और जोड़ देते, 2011 में वो कंज्यूमर अफेयर के चेयरमैन थे जब गुजरात के मुख्यमंत्री थे, तब उन्होंने कहा था कि ऐसी एमएसपी का क्या मतलब जो मिलती ही नहीं, और मनमोहन सिंह जी को पत्र लिखा था कि एमएसपी को कानूनी गारंटी दी जाए। हम तो केवल मोदी जी की बात को दोहरा रहे हैं कि एमएसपी की कानूनी गारंटी आपको दी जानी चाहिए, क्योंकि आपने क्लियरिफिकेशन दिया था कि एमएसपी है, थी और रहेगी। हम कहते हैं प्रधानमंत्री जी एमएसपी कागज पे थी, कागज पे है और कागज पे रहेगी, लेकिन किसानों को मिलती नहीं है। तो ये तमाम विषय भी हैं।
लेकिन धर्मेंद्र मलिक जी, अभी आप जब हमारे साथ जुड़े उसके पहले ही भाजपा के सुदेश शर्मा हैं हमारे साथ, वो कह रहे थे कि एमएसपी तो अभी भी जारी है। कुछ हफ्तों पहले ही अलग अलग क्रॉप्स के लिए सरकार ने एमएसपी वापस से अनाउंस भी करी, इस सीजन के लिए बढ़ोतरी भी करी उसमें। तो आप ये क्यों कह रहे हैं कि ये सिर्फ पेपर पे है?
पेपर में मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि तमाम खबरें, तमाम चीजें आप टेलीविजन के माध्यम से दिखाते हैं। एमएसपी मिल कहाँ रही है? अभी उत्तर प्रदेश के एक किसान ने जब उसकी फसल नहीं खरीदी गई मंडी में तो उसमें आग लगा दी। तमाम खबरें उत्तर प्रदेश तमाम जगहों से ऐसे आई हैं कि बिचौलिए का धान खरीदा जा रहा, बिचौलिए का गेहूं खरीदा जा रहा, किसान को एमएसपी नहीं मिलती। रामपुर का एक घोटाला है। तो एमएसपी सरकार जो डिक्लेयर करती है वो बाइंडिंग नहीं है, वो लागू नहीं होती है खरीद करने वाले व्यापारी पे। वो एक मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस है। हम तो मिनिमम मांग रहे हैं ना, मैक्सिमम की बात नहीं कर रहे। हम ये कह रहे हैं कि जो सरकार तय करती है केवल वो दे दे। लेकिन फिर भी मैं ये कहूँगा कि प्रधानमंत्री जी, अगर आपने ये फैसला कुछ समय बाद ही ले लिया होता तो हमारे 750 साथी, हमारे बुजुर्ग इस आंदोलन में अपनी जान ना गंवाते। और इस तरह के निर्णय कभी भी किसी भी वर्ग के लिए आप निर्णय करें तो उस वर्ग को बुला के बात जरूर कर लें और लोगों को अपने अधिकारों के लिए जान ना गंवानी पड़े। यही हमारी आपसे विनती है। और आप
वो कह रहे हैं कि एमएसपी पे बातचीत करेंगे,
हम भी अब घर ना जाए,
कमेटी बिठाएंगे और एमएसपी पे बातचीत करेंगे। तो अब किसान क्या अपने घर जाने के लिए तैयार क्यों नहीं हो रहे?
जब उन्होंने कहा कि हम बातचीत करेंगे तो बातचीत का इंतजार है। बातचीत किस तरह की करेंगे?
अच्छा,
पहले बातचीत तो करें प्रधानमंत्री जी।
अच्छा, अनिल घानवत जी कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं?
बात में बोला है ना
जी, तो जब तक बातचीत शुरू नहीं होगी तब तक आप वहीं रुकेंगे। वो खैर निर्णय तो कल लिया जाएगा, देखते हैं क्या होता है। अनिल घानवत वांटेड टू से समथिंग। यस, गो अहेड प्लीज। Mr. Ganwat, you wanted to say something? Unmute yourself, please.
Yes, I would like to say regarding MSP. हमारे जो दोस्त है मलिक साहब, अभी उन्होंने कहा कि MSP कहाँ मिल रही है और वो कानूनी होने के बाद मिलेगी, उसकी क्या गारंटी है? अभी FRP का तो कानून है, फिर भी हमें FRP मिलने के लिए लड़ना पड़ रहा है महाराष्ट्र में, और कई उत्तर प्रदेश में भी तो हजारों करोड़ का तो बकाया है, किसानों को नहीं मिल रहा है। तो MSP की गारंटी देने से
नहीं, देखिए गनवत जी बकाया अलग बात है, बकाया अलग बात है और रेट मिलना अलग बात है। आप अच्छी तरह से जानते हैं कि उत्तर प्रदेश में जो SAP है वो लागू है, जो शुगर मिलें गन्ना खरीद करती है वही मिलता है। भुगतान अलग विषय है और रेट अलग विषय है।
आपको SAP मिलती है, लेकिन महाराष्ट्र में FRP ही नहीं मिल रही है। 3-3, 4-4 साल हो गए किसानों को FRP नहीं मिल रही है, और इस साल भी झगड़ा चल रहा है, हर साल भी झगड़ा चल रहा है, FRP नहीं मिल रही है। यही MSP की बात होने वाली है। अभी MSP तो है, फिर भी किसान अपना धान जला रहे हैं प्रोक्योरमेंट सेंटर पे। तो गवर्नमेंट के पास इतना सब खरीद करने के लिए पैसा कहाँ है? दूसरी बात यह है कि हमारी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो 41 लाख टन है बफर स्टॉक की, और हमने 110 लाख टन खरीद करके रखा है। उसको स्टोर करने के लिए जगह नहीं है, उसमें बड़े पैमाने में भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा है।
तो मिस्टर गानवत, ये जो आप पॉइंट कह रहे हैं ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, क्योंकि हर बार इस पे डिबेट होती है कि सरकार के पास इतना पैसा कहाँ है सब खरीदने के लिए, और वो इतना स्टॉक रख के करेंगे क्या उसका। तो बार बार किसान जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे थे वो ये कहते हैं कि सरकार ना खरीदे, फिर आप दे दीजिए ना, जो आ रहे हैं मार्केट खोल के प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स उनको, पर उनको बोलिए MSP पे खरीदने के लिए।
लेकिन अगर वो बिकता नहीं आगे जाके, 2 पैसे उसमें अगर मिलते नहीं तो वो करेंगे क्या खरीद करके?
तो इसका मतलब प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स उतना प्राइस देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है, वही तो प्रॉब्लम है सारी।
महाराष्ट्र में ये एक्सपेरिमेंट हो गया था, और बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट थी उस समय महाराष्ट्र में, तो इन्होंने कानूनी MSP करने का फैसला लिया था, लेकिन पूरे ट्रेडर्स लोगों ने प्रोटेस्ट कर दिया कि आप हमें जेल में डालेंगे अगर हम MSP के नीचे खरीद करेंगे। तो हम नहीं खरीदी करेंगे, क्योंकि उस समय ज्यादा दाम नहीं मिल रहे थे। और MSP देने की नौबत कब आती है? जब गवर्नमेंट इंटरवेंशन करती है, बाहर से मंगा के, बाहर से इंपोर्ट करके यहाँ के दाम गिराती है, एक्सपोर्ट बैन करके दाम गिराती है, स्टॉक लिमिट लगा के दाम गिराती है। तो MSP के नीचे तब जाता है जब उस पर कंट्रोल्स लगते हैं।
ठीक है, सो ये चर्चा तो मुझे लगता है जारी रहेगी। अब तो शुरुआत हुई है, एटलीस्ट वी नाउ नो what the government wants to focus on, what the farmers need, and at the end of the day, it is a sustainable livelihood when it comes to agriculture sector, where more and more people from the same families are venturing out to get other jobs because farming isn't viable anymore. When the land parcels are getting smaller and smaller, and the small marginal farmers are the ones who are getting hit the worst. The issues, there are galores of these issues that remain for the Kisan, for our farming sector. And the government cannot just stop at this point where it apologizes and repeals the laws, because the reforms are still needed. But the work has to be done together with the stakeholders for whom you're bringing in these policies. Thank you for joining us on this conversation.